Hello, I'm Alex Luna, and today I'm going to be talking about a bucket with a handle, or maybe a fishing boat as analogies. Um, well, I guess the bucket is a container. The fishing boat, I guess, if you were needing that to make a living, I guess it would be significant. So both the container that holds some kind of fluid that you need, or the fishing boat, um, and those are I guess analogies, metaphors for the person, right? Me. There are things that I have within me. Um, there's needs that I have, right? We all get hungry. We all get sleepy. We all get frustrated. We all have the potential to get lonely. That whole concept of the human experience and the complexity of humanity in general. But however, since we are talking about people, and it seems like due to technology and how fast it's been changing, our sense of reality has also changed. And by that I mean like the newer is not the right word. Um, it seems like the next generation, right? So my older brothers are already grandparents, so then we're already considering. So that's already at the third generation, right? Whenever they become teenagers, their sense of reality because of our technology is going to be a little bit different. So, it's easy to say the word profit, profit, propheticity and simulacra, and many know exactly what those that implies as far as the digital age, the medium as message. We change technology, and in turn, technology will end up changing us, right? The paraphrase. So from McLuhan. So as far as so where to begin? So the container. We have a lot within us, right? Some people call it the heart. Some people call it the mind. Some people call it the soul. Some heart, mind, and soul. So, right? Because sometimes we even have an internal dialogue where we become frustrated with ourselves because we know what we ought to do, and we end up disappointing ourselves because we take the easy way out, right? When was the last time you saw water rolling uphill, right? Water doesn't go uphill, it takes the easiest route. So that's kind of like by and large. I'm not talking about the outliers, but by and large, the human condition is like we love shortcuts, right? We love to take the easy way out. We love ease, a sense of ease, make it easier for me, make it faster. I don't like to wait. Enter in the microwave, right? The stove wasn't enough. No, we need the microwave, that kind of thing. So the restaurant wasn't enough. We need to drive through, that kind of thing. It's technology. So we're more morphin. But anyways, let's say I do want to improve, right? Let's say I want to leave the world of simulacra and propheticity for a minute. And I want to go back into to improve my reality testing. Why? So I can improve my locus of control. What do I mean by that? How's that? So if I adjust my perception to align more with reality, as opposed to what I think reality is, so that I can better match my expectations, then maybe I won't be as frustrated. Maybe I'll plan better. Maybe, right? Emphasis maybe. So I said it before, I'm going to say it again. And so too much optimism, not good. Too much pessimism, not good. So I need to know what to see the challenge with honesty so that I can prepare for that challenge, so that I can give enough time to the, as far as whatever task. If I am going to build a bridge, because I need to get to the other side, I have to take everything into account. Not just how long it's going to take, but the material, and I also have to stress test it before I walk on it, right? Because it does me no good if I build a bridge and then as I'm walking on it, it collapses, right? I want to get to the other side. So it has to be stress test, and I don't want to waste time on supplies. If it just falls apart, then I have to acquire more supplies. You see what I mean? So anyways, so the bucket has a handle. If because of wear and tear or because of a rough upbringing, my handle is not what it could be, and if it's somewhat broken, it's hard to hold the handle, or it's uncomfortable. I may not be able to hold it as long. So when it comes to frustration tolerance, all right. So the metaphor, I'm going to try to mesh them. And because of my upbringing or wear and tear, holes begin to happen. The bucket's going to leak, and the water is also going to evaporate. So I'm going to have to replenish, right? Remember, just because I ate yesterday doesn't mean, I'm good. I don't have to eat today. I don't have to eat tomorrow. I have to eat a month from now because I ate a good meal yesterday. No. In our journey, in this human experience, we still need our daily bread, right? And we know, at least the Christian would tell you, we can't live on bread alone. We're complex, mind, body, and soul. We need a little bit more than just food. So the fishing boat, right? If you do have a hole and you have to fix it, and at some point, if you do have to replace some wood with better wood, right? So it doesn't get in the way, so you can be as productive as possible, right? What is it that we yearn, right? We yearn to have better connections, better relationships with our spouses, with our parents, with our kids, with our friends, with our family, with our co-workers, with our bosses, with the strangers, with the neighbors, you name it, right? We need, in this age of simulacra, of propheticity, we do need to recalibrate ourselves again in order to improve our reality testing and in order to improve our locus of control. We need to calibrate ourselves, because I do believe that because of our technology, we have lost, there's some distortion as far as what I think is normal or what I think reality is. And not to blame, but just to recalibrate myself so that I can have better relationships, right? So that I can provide, so that I can carry my own weight, right? I'm a father, I have to provide for my family, right? I'm a husband, so I have to be able to carry my own weight in our relationship, right? And vice versa, right? So there are some responsibilities. I know that word sounds harsh nowadays, responsibilities, right? But again, to recalibrate my sense of reality. So in order to avoid the simulacra, I have to start doing a few analogies or thought experiment. So here we go, thought experiment. Let's say that I want to realign myself with reality more closely. So then I have to say, okay, so I know that there's simulacra and simulation and propheticity and all that stuff. And so my parents. No, go further because that's still part of the Industrial Revolution. Okay, my grandparents. Okay, my great grandparents. My great great grandparents. Okay, so that more. Okay, so for the past, let's say we go back to the seventh generation before, and we inquire of the last 10 generations prior to them, they're going to have the same sense of reality by and large. Again, not talking about the outliers, but by and large. So if I was to hear a conversation between parent and teenager, right, 15, depending on the culture at the time. So my culture, right, my grandpa, both my grandpas, so my dad and my mom's side, were from Spain. Both grandmas from mom and dad, my mom and dad, were from Mexico. So as far as 7 generations ago, as far as here in the Americas, if I was to hear a conversation between dad and son, and the son is 15, they already have to be like with it, right? They're no longer an infant, so they do have to take account of what kind of materials to build shelter, right? When you hear a rattlesnake, when you hear the sound, right, be respectful to the snake, right? Again, to get out of the simulacra, out of the simulation, out of propheticity. So we're not going to be bold. We're not going to get go pet the snake. No, it's dangerous. It's poisonous. I'm going to give it its respect. If I need to travel and I hear it, I'm going to right the perimeter. I'm going to give it its respect, and I'm not going to go near it. I'm going to give it the respect it's due, right? Same thing if I hear wolves, I'm going to get prepared. Serious. Take things seriously, right? Hunting, going to take their instructions seriously, the expectations seriously. Remember, because you're always going to get hungry. But that's normal, right? Anxiety, normal, right? Having a conversation with the the gathering, as far as you get a meeting, right? As far as the elders and the people that are old enough, 15 would be considered old enough to be in that conversation as far as where we're at and where we need to be and how do we be prepared. I guarantee you, when it's life and death and the elements and you're battling all these foes, elements, animals, you do depend on your family. You do depend on the tribe, like it or not. I know these words, but again, we want to escape the simulacra. So, yes, family is important. Yes, a respectful parent that can carry their own weight is a good thing. Teenager that can carry their own weight and is respectful is a good thing, right? The expectations are, it's like, yes, take it seriously because our life are at stake, right? Winter always comes. You always get hungry. You always get thirsty. So you do have to know what fruits are poisonous or not, right? Water has to be drinkable, right? We don't want to drink polluted water, whether it's polluted with bacteria. And I know I'm already mentioning terms like bacteria. In those days, they wouldn't be. So anyways, you have to prepare the water. So where to get water's not going to kill you, right? So I mentioned the bucket. I mentioned the boats. Grounding ourselves with a better locus of control, better reality testing, calibrating my mind, body, and soul So I'm going to give you, okay, so now back to the present day, right? So if I'm going to give feedback from my elder and they tell me, you know, Alex, I think you're doing good in this process, but I think you're off a little bit here. I should be grateful for that feedback and I should receive it with open arms. It should not break me. It's not like the ice cream that melts and goes on the floor and it's ruined. No, I think the ice cream stays ice cream and you're able to enjoy the ice cream, right? What is productive versus what is destructive? If someone that cares about me is giving me constructive criticism, I should accept it with open arms. I should be grateful that I have a leader that wants to help me grow. So the last time you were in a car, you had some knobs. You know, if you were listening to the radio or via Bluetooth on your phone, you already had a PlayStation, you already had a station playing, and you have knobs, the volume. You can change the song. You can change the playlist for a different genre, right? You can turn it off, so you have control, right? And by and large, you listen to music that you want to listen to. You don't put music that you hate, that you dislike. You don't put the noise level to one that's uncomfortable, right? Think of these knobs as your inner knobs, where you are able to control your emotions, you can control your thoughts, you control your words via these knobs, inner knobs. Think of when you get in your car. If it's cold, you probably turn on the heater. If it's hot, you probably turn on the AC. And, you give it 5 minutes, give it 10 minutes, and it's comfortable. It's where you want it to be, right? You adjust these things to help you out, right? What's constructive, not what's destructive. So think of your knobs as your mind, body, and soul. You shouldn't allow other people to adjust your inner settings. If you have your playlist, you're not going to have someone change the song on you, right? I'll give you an example. I'm at the store waiting in line and somebody gives me a mean, dirty look, maybe even flips me off. I have no idea why. It's like it's like they just changed the song that you were listening to. Your internal song, right? They change, or they could change. See that? Because you could put it right back where it was. Be like, don't know, don't understand, whatever. They just did that. They go back to their thing, and they look at you again to see if you're going to react. You have a choice. You don't have to react. You can react, but you don't have to react. You can change your settings back to where you want them, not where they want them. Remember, you ever heard the saying, oh, they just know how to push my buttons. So we do need to calibrate ourselves, get out of the simulacra, get back into reality, a more clear sense, a better locus of control, to have a better reality testing, to be more aligned to our expectations, and so that we are able to so our tolerance level should increase, our frustration tolerance should increase, our temptation tolerance should increase. Don't go pet the snake. Give it the respect that it deserves. Feedback tolerance should increase. They want you to grow. They want you to grow. Don't be grateful. Reflection tolerance. Gratitude, right? Part of that reflection tolerance, to be able to reflect, ponder, in order that you're more prudent instead of more impulsive, right? Remember, hunger always comes back. Thirst always comes back. You get sleepy, right? All these things that every day, the normal grind, but I got to be able to carry my own weight, right? Other people depend on me. I should also, I did, once upon a time, I did have parents, right? So, right? They're imperfect. I'm imperfect. There's no such, as far as calibrating or reality testing, there's no such thing as perfection. There's no such thing as a perfect parent. There's no such thing as a perfect sibling. There's no such thing as a perfect spouse. There's no such thing as the perfect offspring, kids, right? There's no such thing as a perfect neighbor. There's no such thing as a perfect coworker. There's no such thing as a perfect boss. There's no such thing as a perfect workplace, etc., etc., etc. Let's calibrate our perception. Let's calibrate our expectations. In order that we have our frustration tolerance is calibrated, our temptation tolerance is recalibrated, our feedback tolerance is recalibrated, our reflection tolerance is recalibrated, so that we are less impulsive, so that we're more prudent. Things are hard. Things have always been hard, right? And let's rephrase it. Complexity, multiple steps, learning step by step by step by step. When I was in third grade math was challenging. When I was teaching my young one, when they were young, when they were in third grade, they thought it was challenging. It's not that they're lying. It's not that I was lying. At that time, third grade math was challenging. Through the frustration of learning, of doing homework so that we able to put into our memory bank so that it's useful. And I know what you're thinking. Math is not useful. No, it's the concept of learning, the steps of dealing with frustration to learn, to acquire new information. I know whether it's useful or not, that's a different subject. We must carry our own weight. So as far as what you want to teach your kiddos, again, let's recalibrate. So the 7th grader still thinks 7th grade math is challenging, but they think the 3rd grade math is a breeze. So what changed? The math problems are still the same. It's a person that changed. And in the same way, the 9th grader thinks that 3rd grade math is a breeze, thinks that 7th grade math is a breeze. Again, it's not that the problems change, it's that the person continues to grow, continues to grow, continues to grow, continues to grow. So again, another analogy is like, let's say you want to recalibrate yourself. Okay, so in order to realign ourselves and recalibrate ourselves as far as to improve our frustration tolerance, to improve our temptation tolerance, to improve our feedback tolerance, to improve our reflection tolerance. Let's say we're going to take on the venture. Let's say I know nothing about the acoustic guitar or about music theory or about dancing and choreography. I never studied all this stuff, but I'm going to learn the tango or the waltz or whatever, something new. Or I'm going to learn to skateboard or I don't know nothing about basketball, but there you go. I'm going to join the basketball practice to make it to the basketball team, the local basketball team, that kind of thing, right? So you know nothing about it, but you're going to take on the challenge, right? Oh, you're going to encounter some frustration. Oh, you're going to encounter feedback from the instructor or the coach, right? Well, bird just ran into the wall. It scared me. So, did I say the wall? The window. So let's say the first week when you begin to pick up the acoustic guitar, let's say you have someone to teach you, or you're going to learn yourself, you're still going to require online instructors. So even though you're doing it yourself, you're not really doing it yourself. So let's say for the sake of we're around people. So there you go. You should be able to be around people. Calibrate your reality testing, folks. So you find an instructor that's cordial enough and that's talented, right? They got to know what they're teaching you. So the first week is going to be really frustrating because you're like, man, I'm nowhere near mastering this acoustic guitar. Yes, correct. And it is going to be frustrating. Yes. And you're going to have to put up with the frustration of learning, frustration of getting feedback, frustration of taking the time that you could be doing something else, watching a show on Netflix or watching a movie or hanging out with a friend or whatever. You're going to also have to trade off something to make time to acquire this new skill, right? But you will learn something. And it'll be whatever the 1 week entails. By the 5th week, so you're already a month in, right? You're still going to be frustrated with the concept of you still have to learn. You're still going to be frustrated with making mistakes. You're still going to be frustrated that you're not a master of the acoustic guitar and of music theory and of everything, that all the ins and outs. And you'll discover that what? Even the silence in between the sounds, even that's important. Even the silence is important in music. Yeah, imagine that. Crazy. Even a month in, you're still not a master. You still need that tutor. You still need to be open to the feedback. The coach wants you to grow. The coach doesn't want to destroy you. Don't let the ice cream melt to the floor. That's not constructive. Enjoy the ice cream. How do we enjoy life? If the ice cream doesn't melt and end up on the floor, you don't enjoy the ice cream. If the ice cream doesn't melt, you can enjoy the ice cream. You can enjoy relationships. But we have to understand that I'm not perfect and they're not perfect. And there's this dance that you have to do. And you have to practice. Oh, the frustration of not knowing the steps. Oh, the frustration that you need an instructor. Oh, the frustration of feedback. Oh, the frustration that two to tango. Oh, the frustration that you can't control another person. Oh, the frustration that another person cannot see what you see and doesn't understand what you understand and doesn't get what you're trying to say, and difference of opinions. Oh, the frustration that lies within people and in this world and in this life and the elements and winter and summer and poisonous snakes and ravenous wolves and I'm hungry again, I'm sleepy again, I'm thirsty again. But we must be able to carry our own weight. Right? And I know there's outliers, but I'm talking about, by and large, we have to improve remember, get out of the simulacra if possible. Right? There is such thing as propheticity. I can't even pronounce the word right, so new to me. I just understand your inner knobs, and just understand the settings, have them where you want them to be. Don't let other people put songs you don't like and volumes that you don't like, or whatever, right? You let other people push your inner buttons. You allow them to push your inner buttons. They're internal, right? It comes from you, and you react. Hopefully not impulsively. Hopefully you're prudent. Hopefully you have a better locus of control. Hopefully you build a bridge. Hopefully you took the time and figure out how to build it, and with proper materials so that it can bear the weight of everyday living, so that you can get to the other side. What's the other side? Connection, relationships, accepting the harshness of this world, that we have to carry our own weight, that we have responsibilities, that we have to do the grind. I am a Christian, so, the Apostle Paul says, those that don't work don't eat. And they were talking to healthy, regular people, right? Not talking about the outliers. I think this is the fourth time I mentioned, third, fourth time. So yes, not talking about the outliers, right? There's always exceptions to the rule, right? But they're not the rules, right? So hopefully you're able to play well that acoustic guitar sounds beautiful when it is played well. But ask the master that plays it. Didn't do it with 5 hours in, didn't know nothing, and in 5 hours in, they're masters of their craft. No, it doesn't work that way. Right? Anyways. Hopefully you found this helpful. Hopefully you're able to fix the holes in the boat and replace the wood that needs to be replaced. I'm going to mention a Christian concept. Jesus says you must be born again. So there's holes there. You find out there's every plank of wood has holes, and before you know it, you replace. By the end of the journey, you'll replace almost all the wood, and it's like you have a new boat, same boat, but is it the same boat if all the wood is different? Right? Apostle Paul says, imitate me as I imitate Christ, right? You're no longer you, you're kind of like, you're born again. So anyways, everything has a trade-off. Hopefully you acknowledge that that the medium has been changing our reality, right? We improve our technology, we change, and in turn the technology changes for good or bad, and we're now in the world of simulacra, and that's just the way it is. Propheticity, for those that are online, it's a real thing, and so hopefully you found this helpful. Hopefully I didn't ramble on too long. And anyways, if you're still here, give it a like, subscribe if you're bold. If you really don't, you really want to go out on a limb and share this, because you might just get unsubscribed if you happen to do that. Because, anyways, some concepts are hard to hear. So there you are. But everything's a trade-off. The daily grind, you have to put in the due diligence. I have to carry my own weight. There are responsibilities. That's just how it is. I am grateful for the feedback. I'm grateful to have spiritual leaders in my life. So hopefully you found this helpful. All right. Alex Luna signing off. The handle is this also. Till next time.